who has embarked on saving our ancient poetic and epic traditions from extinction. So without further ado, Grace Nono is joining us on the show. Now, she recently published the book, The Shared Voice, Chanted and Spoken Narratives from the Philippines. And as she kept on reminding me before this show began, this book is more than a collection or the story of her finding different epics. So without further ado, Grace, tell us about what made you put this book together.
Hello, Manolo.
Hi.
Yes, well, where am I coming from? I wrote this book because I practice songs that were taught to me by different elders. This is the fruit of reflection. I was singing those songs already, but I was asking myself, what am I really doing, right? There's more to this probably than just the melodies and the words. So this is a journey. This is a protracted one, and it started maybe 15 years ago or even further, and it's still ongoing, and I'm writing another one right now.
Well, you know, what made this, what struck me about your book from the get-go was that, in the first place, besides your being a living part of the culture that we're evolving today,
yes,
that you decided to embark on academic study and academic work precisely to find this meaning, to find the relationships and the different ways that other people have sought to try to make sense and put these traditions in context. And along the way, you experienced help from some mentors that were very significant in coming out with this book.
Definitely. First of all, let's go back to the practice, which gave birth to the theory. Okay. Today, if you want to be a musician, a singer, for instance, where do you go to? Who are your sources, right? I mean, you go to school, you learn from the scores, perhaps. You listen to radio, you watch television, you watch MTV, YouTube, diba? Right? And then I was asking myself, is this enough, you know, to be a Filipino artist? Is it enough to just copy what is being fed to us? And these things are beautiful and wonderful, but they also come from very specific cultural systems, right? And so I asked myself, is it enough to be a Filipino artist just copying? Bakit wala ba tayong sariling atin? But, you know, okay, maybe we have our own, but where do you start, right? Where?
And so how did you start off
Yes.
on answering that question?
Just being with our people, with the elders, for instance. Maybe your parents, your uncles and titos and titas and your grandparents, maybe they know some songs that have been passed down to them orally, and that's really the key. Just allow yourself to be passed on too, and take it from there.
Let me bring in a sort of philosophical question. When an artist creates
Yes.
a work of art, whether a song or something, or a piece of painting, or a story, there's the element of self-expression there.
Yes.
There's the element of wanting to please others. I mean, you're thinking of an audience,
Right.
but then also sometimes there are larger purposes,
Right, for instance.
at work. Well, some people do it to explain injustice in their
Sure.
society,
Yeah.
or to explore the deeper things that make us tick.
Yes.
Now, when you're looking at these traditional epics, songs, poetry, other performances, in many ways, is it correct to say that the purpose of this was to pass down knowledge and identity
That
from
is
one generation to the next? And
Sure.
what were the other things that these works are supposed
Oral
to
traditions.
achieve? Yes.
Yes. Okay. For instance, in the videos that we were watching earlier, I'm not sure about the Ifugao video, but the Passion, of course, is in the religious context, right? And the dasang that we saw from Bukidnon, that is, from what I know, that is in the context of arbitration. They are trying to settle a conflict, and they're singing it. Yeah, and it's improvisational. So those are just two. What else? Healing. Ababaylan may use song in the context of healing. What else? History and recounting oral history, mythology. It is sung. Of course, entertainment. Many
To celebrate
things.
feasts and
Every
festivals.
aspect of life you know, song and narrative, you find it.
But what seems to be happening is that, particularly in our generation,
Yes.
is that what seems to have been able to have survived for so long, all of a sudden is disappearing.
And why is that?
Yes, and why is that?
Well, that's a really tough question. And why do you think? Well, how many centuries of colonization? And now it's globalization, and we see and hear so much about the rest of the world, but you know, is our tradition being transmitted through our educational system, for instance? We ask that. Through our mass media, through our religious organizations and other institutions in our society. You ask that?
No, obviously by coming out
Yeah.
with this book, you felt that there was both, there seemed to be two needs being addressed in this book. One is to record it for posterity so that nothing will, or these things will not get lost. The other is to give them a kind of relevance and meaning for us, as we're you know, there are many of us who are asking these questions about what it means to be not just a Filipino, but we're also discovering a renewed sense of what it means to be Ilocano, Tagalog, or a member of our different minorities. So how does it all come together in terms of this book?
Well, posterity, you know, to record something, to me, is just the first step, you know. What I really found out through this journey is that oral traditions, these are living things. And this concept is like alien to us. When we say tradition, we think of them as something static of the past, right? Unchanging. You have to keep it as it is, otherwise it's no longer traditional. Yeah? This is like the usual conception we have of tradition. But then I got introduced to the idea of living traditions. I said, what? How can it be? And getting exposed to primary oralists and finding out that each time they sing their song, they sing it differently. It's the same song, it's the same story, but they do it, you know, they introduce...
So no performance, no experience of this tradition is ever actually the same.
Well, not if you are in the moment. If you practice improvisation, which is a characteristic of primary orality. If you're able to orally create in the moment, just like what we are doing today, we are speaking. We did not memorize this a while ago, right? We are like speaking in the moment. If you can do that through song, then that's it.
No, but at the same time, you know, this idea of living tradition is very interesting, because as you embarked on your quest,
Yes.
part of you is informed by what you studied in
Precisely.
academe, your decision to ask certain questions and
Yes.
not others. Okay, and some of it from the Western tradition,
Sure.
some from our own.
Yes.
But also, you are a modern Filipina woman
But of course.
going to very traditional societies, some of whom may be also representing cultures that may not have had space for someone like you a generation or two ago. So it's interesting to me how you're able to sort of combine these two in a respectful manner for this traditional society, and at the same time making it meaningful and relevant to an evolving Filipino.
I think in the end, you know, you approach the elders as a human being, you know, and to say that because they are elders and they are not as modern as you are, they're not contemporary, I think there's an error there. I think that if they are alive today and if they are interacting with people like us, they are just as contemporary. Yeah, and we are, all of this is a product of history. You know, they have changed just like we have. Their stories have changed. When, for instance, one of my teachers who just passed away, Mandung Sabal, sings, she talks about maybe issues today and meeting me and riding an airplane in the same way that she speaks about her spirit teacher and her initiation as a shaman. You know what I mean? It's very, today, it's very present, it's very contemporary.
And so